Welcome everybody with the Microsoft Lumia 550 review. We had it for a whole week now and we tried it out a little bit outdoors, indoors, the battery life, the camera and everything that you need to know about this phone will be shown to you now, especially Windows 10, because this is the first time I've been using a Windows 10 device for more than half an hour since the Lumia 950 and the 950 XL are still not with me here for a long time. So this is the first phone I will show you, and you can see already the glance view, which shows us that it's 3 in the morning. I'm working overtime right now since Christmas is coming up. So we have a few sensors on the front. You can see them right here. When I would, for example, hold my finger right here, the phone will think that it's completely dark in our pocket, for example, and the glance view will turn off. If I put my finger away, the glance view turns back on and it's red because I set it to red. You can set it obviously to a different color. On the front we have a 2 megapixel camera which shoots 480p videos at f2.8. On the back we have a 5 megapixel camera which has f2.4 and shoots 720p videos. So that's a quite good camera for a cheap phone like this. 120 bucks with a single flash is alright. You have a plastic back cover which you can see is covered by my fingerprints, but you cannot really see the fingerprints, but it's easy to take off the cover and, for example, just buy a different cover. The only thing you have to do is lift up the back a little bit and then you can easily take it off and you will see right away the big 2100 milliamp battery that lasted in standby, that we have been keeping it mostly really 3-4 days easily, even with being connected to the Wi-Fi. So we have here the single nano SIM version. You can see for some countries probably there will be a dual SIM, since here's the space available right here, and also up on top here there's a microSD card slot, so the internal 8 GB can be easily expanded with up to 200 gigs, for example by SanDisk, that is available for around 100 bucks already. That would be obviously as much as the phone itself, but still, if you have a lot of pictures and videos and music, you can still do that and use this as a really great MP3 player also. On the bottom you have a speaker here, we'll try that out later. On the bottom also a micro USB port, which you can see is not perfectly cut right out now for this case. This is the only way to put it on, but yeah, it still works perfectly, so that's no problem at all. On the side we have just 3 buttons, on and off switch, volume rocker, that's it. And on the top we have the little headset jack, which is open. And obviously there is a little bump here. I don't know exactly why, but Microsoft just made it this way. On the left there is nothing, and then we are back and on the bottom and the back again. There's no Microsoft logo here anymore. The logo is here, but it doesn't say Microsoft. It only says that on the front, right below the speaker. And then there's also a microphone here on the bottom, and there would be enough space for touch Windows buttons, but they're actually on the 4.7 inch screen in this light 9.9mm 142 gram device. So 4.7 inches means that we have the same resolution almost as with the M size iPhone 6 and 6S here, which is 720 in the width and 1280 in height when it comes to resolution. So unlocking is quite easy, just a flick and you're inside already, unless you want to add something special like some pins or some patterns or something else. That's easy to do. Just swipe down here from the top, go to all settings, and then you can easily set up here security by just typing here, for example, in security, update and security, for example, I would say, and no, that's not it. So let's search again. So we can search for different things. Obviously I can find it right now, but somewhere in here, probably under privacy, you can set it up to have just a little bit more security. But before we go through the settings, let's just take a quick peek at how Windows Phone 10 looks like. If you haven't seen it before, it looks a little bit like you have seen it before on the Lumia 950 and 950 XL. So you have 3 rows here, but you can also have your double rows also in little categories where you just see a little bit more apps, where you cannot right away select the apps because they're too small. But for example, if you just have 4 in one little tile, then you can select, for example, right away Facebook, and it will open up and you can read through pages that you want to use. Also, you have Office pre-installed. These are the apps in Germany that were pre-installed, so there are some which are localized, like Expedia and Audible, but Shazam should be familiar to you. Netflix is probably also with you familiar, and Amazon, Lumia offers, Xbox and so on should be also probably available in your country. I installed these, and actually one more game I can expand, and you can see here these are the last 4 I installed. So there's a recently added section now here up on top, so you can easily find the things that you installed. But still, here you can also search easily with the letters. You can also do that by just pressing a letter, and then you can select, for example, here M for just the app maps, messages, Microsoft Edge and movies and so on. So it's easy to search, and again you have here the search bar on top, so you can also just type Edge. If you know that the Microsoft Edge browser is called Edge, it will find it. And you can also search the store. So for example, if you want an app like for example Skype, it seems it's pre-installed, but usually when you go on a few apps it still has to download the app. In terms of Skype, I think it's already completely on here, so let's not wait till it loads up. Now the problem with 1 gig of RAM is that obviously you need a little bit of time till it loads a few things up. And there's only a quad-core 1.1 GHz processor inside, which is called Snapdragon 210. Now usually the 200 or 210 processor is inside smartwatches, so that's interesting that Microsoft is using it here for their phone. But as you can see, it's actually enough in terms of animation and speed. Just loading apps takes sometimes a little while, and also wireless display is not working that lag free, as you can see in a separate video on my channel. So let's do one thing. Let's open up Antutu to show you a little bit of benchmarks. Since here on the bottom you can see we got 10,382, and here are the different things that were calculated. So the CPU is quite fast, but when it comes to graphics, 2D graphics for example, it's not that fast really. The internal memory is alright, and the memory is also alright when it comes to speed. And here for information you can see again the display resolution is actually, I think, wrong here. It's not 800 x 480, it's 1280 x 720 as far as I know, because that resolution will be quite ridiculous, and I will definitely see the pictures on here. And that's actually the only thing that you can see here. So Antutu is obviously still in beta for Windows Phone, but they're trying to fix most things. Now to close most apps, just hold down the back button and you have still the possibility, like here for example, to close your last apps that were open. So if you accidentally open a few things, you can close them, like you can do it on your iOS or Android device. But for example, it looks a little bit like it would be an iOS closing diagram, but actually you cannot flick them up or flick them really up to close them. Flicking down will close them, but flicking up not. So it's, if you're holding it in one hand and doing just this, it will actually close them quite easily. So you were able to see Instagram. I didn't post it here on the front, so what I can do is again here start to search, and actually you have seen probably that we have kind of a different keyboard here. So what I want to show you is if I type a little bit more, but I will say I don't want to type Instagram, or I just wrote too much, or I have an extra letter. There's a little tiny dot here which is quite awesome. You can hold on to it and go to the left, and it will go slowly to the left, and you can simply go left and right here with this little pin. You can also go up and down. Down or up is not that interesting right now because there's nothing happening, but you can see here what's happening on the bottom. And it's quite cool that you can just go simply left or right for one letter, and that's really quite easy to do. Also, you can obviously swipe if you want to do that, and it's really quite easy. You can type something like Washington, and it will do it quite nicely by helping you also here. And obviously you have also your Siri button, so you can dictate, but that usually needs internet, and that's probably not perfect for everybody. So we can stick here with Instagram, and then it shows us the app. So let's open up the beta app, because of course a lot of people ask me if standard apps like Facebook, Instagram or other things work nicely. Yes, they do. You can see here, I can see what people liked on my page. I can see my own page. I can open up my own pictures, and you can see it works quite well. I can refresh, I can go back home and so on. It's not that hard to use, and even though it's beta, it's still quite alright. I can also post a picture. Check out my camera roll here. I can select this one, and then you have all your same cropping tools if you want that. Go to the next page, and then you have all your settings down here on the bottom. So again, we can just go back home. I can go back into the app, or I can just hold down this one and completely close up again Instagram, and then continue later with starting everything new. Next up, so you can see also PowerPoint is opening up quite quickly. Also, if you want to do something in Word, that's also no problem at all. I haven't had that actually open before, so what I will do is just skip here most of the things, but it will still download a few things. For example, here's some kind of document that I needed for, I think, Panasonic with a CM1 camera. Till that loads up, I can tell you we have still Bluetooth 4.1 installed, an FM radio, GPS, GLONASS, BDS, Wi-Fi BG and N. There's no AC inside, and also no 5 GHz, so you can see here it looks quite nice, quite sharp here on this 720p screen, and even the tiny letters here on the bottom look totally alright, and you could go in there and start writing if I would want to, but it's actually a read-only file format, and I need to upgrade to make it accessible for editing also. So obviously that also works with Excel and OneNote, and let's check out the camera. Let's see what the 720p camera can do. So you can already see I have here this fiber cloth, and I can just say I want to focus on that and take a picture. It took a picture, and if you want to do a little bit more professionally, you can just slide up here the camera a little bit, and then you have here your possibilities still for shutter speed, your ISO, which will instantly change between 100 and 800. Then you have your manual focus, which I love, so you can really set the focus for yourself, but let's keep it at auto. And you have also your white balance completely up here on top, where you have see natural light, cloudy, or anything else. And then you have here on the bottom also the saturation that you can change completely between -3 and +3. So this way it will be a little bit brighter, and this way it will be a lot darker. So you can play around here like a pro with just a $100 device. Let's keep it at 0, and we can also easily close these up again by just pulling this down. Now the awesome thing is that usually also works for the camera, so let me try that here. Exactly, so saturation, then you have here your focus, that works also, and the white balance can be also set for your videos in 720p. That's not something that usually cameras or smartphones in this price range will give you. And you can also see on the side, you have also the same little manual settings that I've shown you down here on the bottom, but you can also change them manually and single-handedly right there. You can also turn the video light on, and we can also turn around the camera. Now I have a lot of light behind me. Obviously I'm shooting here a video, but still the camera quality is really great. And especially, even though it's a front 2 megapixel camera, if you check out here what the result is, it's stunning how really good. If I close in a little bit, you can see even all my hairs and everything, even though it's only 2 megapixel. And what you're able to see also is that once you go onto one picture, it will actually play a little bit, 1.5 seconds, since Microsoft had, actually even before Apple, this live picture feature that a lot of people know, which is quite nice and enables you to set or edit a little even more than before. So you can go into your edit, and you can select usually the best picture of those 5 frames it took, I think. And you have this auto enhance feature. As you guys can see already, this is a lot better because the light was just a little bit better here. You can also rotate it, crop it, and there's obviously also save to copy. And these are the simple features you can also easily share. the video or the photo. And you can also set as slideshow, and you can check out the file info. So for example, here we would see that we took a 2 megapixel picture, which is 2 megabyte. Here again, f2.8 I told you before, and the ISO was 160. So you get all kinds of nice information that you, for example, on an iOS device usually would not get in the simplest camera app. So that was the camera, really amazing here again for $100 device. Maps and everything else I don't have to show you much, I think, because it just works great. I zoomed here, for example, into Munich. Since we are in Munich right now, we can look for anything. You can still also go offline and save your maps offline if you want to do that, which is quite easy. And Windows 10 is just really easy to use if you have seen a few standard buttons like these 3 lines before for your settings. And here on the bottom you get more information about, for example, Munich in German right now, since we are in Germany and it knows it. And yeah, there's just really all kinds of apps on here that are making your life easier, and you didn't have to pay for them 1 cent. So again, performance-wise, is this phone good? Now that's always a good question. That's why we're opening up now a game called Asphalt 8. I won't play it too much. But you can see actually we had everything closed before. Guys were able to see almost everything was closed, and it didn't even have to load the game. I played it like 3 hours ago and it's still open here, and we could start now gaming. Let me turn up the volume a little bit so you guys can also see that when it's at full volume it's really loud, and to listening to music or anything like that, it's basically also a really good phone if you want to use it to just listen to music or watch a few movies with a few friends at home. This is a really nice basic smartphone for, as I said, here in Germany you can buy it right now for 120 euros, so that's really cheap. You can also see the graphics are alright. No hiccups, no lags. So it's really great to see that Microsoft did a great job on this phone, building a performance-wise decent device for everyday tasks like gaming. And other things. So as I said before, I won't play too much, because as you can see I'm not the best player actually. So just pause the game here and let's go out again. So again, Windows 10, we have a lot of things, like for example you can have just a few settings up on top here. You have a few notifications here that you can leave. You have a few emails here, these are all spam actually, and then you can also say you want to see everything up on top here, so there's quite a few things that you can use. As I said, we have wireless display, check out my separate video for that. I love that feature. And then in all settings you just have the same look as you have with your Windows 10 notebook, tablet or anything else there, where you have a full Windows 10 running here. Obviously we have the mobile Windows 10, but also you can change so much things here. Like for example the offline maps, you will see in storage that we have a lot of storage left, 3 gigabytes, because that one game actually that we were just playing takes 1 gigabyte. Usually you should have about 5 gigabytes free when you buy the phone. Then you have a lot of personalization that you can choose from, not only the colors but also the start screen. You can also say that see-through apps should have a color. You can choose a light theme, that would mean everything is white and gray. I like the dark better though, and I have as accent color, you can see it here, red, but you can also choose for example yellow or other things, which I will not change right now. And you can also apply this color to the navigation bar on the bottom, which I will also not do. On the start, again, you can say your own picture, tile picture, full screen picture, and a few more things. You can also just go back to having 2 rows if you like that a little bit better because the phone is too small for your grandparents. That maybe is a little bit easier to use. That's an option, but I like the 3 rows better. And there is, here we go, the lock screen. That's what I wanted to do actually, or show you. Also a few settings that you can change here. Quick apps. Double tap the navigation bar to turn off the screen is also possible, and so on. Bluetooth camera, I don't have to show you that a lot. There is a few mouse and USB settings. Personalization, we were in there. Network and Wi-Fi is obvious. 4G is obviously enabled on this phone. Also, you have your still kids corner, so if you are an adult but you don't want your kids to play or do everything on your phone, you can set in the kids corner a few permissions. Then you have your apps corner also, which will also give you the protection on your phone for a few apps. So for adults also, that's kind of like the kids corner. You can sync your settings on different phones and so on. I will do actually a whole Windows Phone 10 obviously review with the Lumia 950, which is a little bit nicer to show here everything than on this little bit slower and smaller phone. In extras, there's the glance view and everything you're able to see. So glance screen, that's for example possible. For example, at night, I told them from 11 p.m. to 9 p.m. it should be red, and it should always show when it's charging also, and it should show me the date and notifications, and after 15 minutes of idle mode. Touch. There's no double tap feature available, sadly, for this phone. I don't know why, but you can set here a few different other things also. And you can see a few information. It's made in Vietnam. You can set your color profile also, and so on. So there's quite a few things that you can set up in Windows Phone 10 and on the Lumia 550 that you would not expect from a phone of this price and size. And I just love it and will keep loving it if I would use this as my daily driver, but actually obviously I have a little bit of a more expensive phone that, for example, if you compare it to $700 device, the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge Plus, or that's not the Plus, that's just a regular 5.1 inch one, you can see obviously it's a little bit bigger, the screen is a lot bigger also, but the Samsung is, as I said, 5 times more expensive or 6 times more expensive, has a lot better camera and everything, but for example no interchangeable battery. And yeah, that's what a lot of people might want. Actually, also in terms of speed, you can see also everything quite nice, and you can switch between different languages. So it's, for example, between Great English, British and US English I could change here, and so on. So there's still quite a few features here that you just might love and want to use. NewYorkTimes.com. So we can Bing that. It obviously doesn't work, but you can usually also just do the search on the bottom, and you can also do that with Cortana if you want, but you have to set it up somewhere. I think I didn't do that yet, since, yeah, actually up on top, here we go. But for some reason the region is still not, yeah, possible. That's too sad, so thank you much for tuning in. My name is Balazs. This was the brand new Microsoft Lumia 550. I hope you liked my video. I'm amazed with the quality of this phone for the price. If you want a decent shooting picture phone, and you can actually see here the first picture I took, which was just a snapshot in my unboxing video, but I go really close. You can see my beard, you can see my green eyes and everything, even though those are really tiny details, for example here on the bottom. And I think the quality is just amazing for an easy to use phone for this price, but I cannot say that often enough. Thank you much for tuning in again. Don't forget to subscribe. I hope you will check out also my other videos, and until next time, peace and then again.